What's going on, everyone? Town back here, and welcome to another episode of Weekend Gaming. So this is the new series I've been doing where you guys get to submit your questions down below in the video, and then for the next video I will answer them and give my humble opinions on them, and just kind of give my thoughts, and then we can get some more conversations going down below. Just a way to kind of get the community more together and just to have a little more fun, see what other thoughts are out there, what kind of questions, what kind of points do people bring up, because everyone's got a really good idea somewhere down there. So it's always good just to see them. And there were some really cool questions on this video, and I actually picked 5 instead of 4 for this one. So it might be a little bit of a longer one, or I might be going through a couple of them a little fast, but I thought they were all really cool, so I just wanted to get straight into them. So again, before we get into it, if you want to have your question answered or for me to give my opinion on it in the next video, leave your comments down below in this video, okay? Don't set private YouTube messages or anything like that. Put your comments down below in this video, and I will take a look, and if it seems like a really interesting question and a lot of people are also answering on it or giving likes and everything, then I will pick it and I will talk about it in the next video. So, first question comes from Zeno AM, and it says, Gaming with Talon. It says, what other games do you think they should add on the Switch, as it just doesn't have enough? And what are your thoughts on the casing and plastic screens? Does it offer any quality needed? Will the future versions have a better setup, or will they follow up on the current situation? Okay, so lots of questions. So let's start with the first one. What other games do you think will be added to the Switch, as it just doesn't have enough? Well, I know we have obviously, the ones that have been announced. So Mario Kart 8, you got Super Mario Odyssey. So obviously a lot of big first-party titles. I think Dragon Quest or maybe The Witcher, I think it is, or something like that. That's coming as well. I know there's some other games, I just honestly can't think of it. Nintendo claims that they have a lot of indie developers that are going to be helping them, but I'm not really sure on that. They said that last time with the Wii U. So I'm, obviously everyone's going to hope for a new Smash Brothers, although we don't know with the current, director of the game and everything. I personally would love, and I've wanted this for a long time, I want another Metroid Prime game. I love Prime 1, 2, and 3, 1 being the best in my opinion. And it was amazing. I love those games. They're so much fun. Come on, Retro Studios, make another one. Or heck, bring back another Donkey Kong Country. They had those 2 Donkey Kong Country games. Those are really fun as well. So hopefully we can get a few games like that. What are my thoughts on the casing and the plastic screen? Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of things about how the actual device, the part that you pull out, is the console itself, and then the box is just some little cheap plastic thing. And also the screen gets scratched a lot when you keep putting it down. So I've heard, and I'm going to say this now, invest in a screen protector, it sounds like, especially if you're going to be taking it around a lot of different places. So, I figured with it being a tablet type like console that you would have to worry about putting a screen protector on there because you might get a few scratches or some kind of liquid on it or anything like that. So that was kind of expected. In terms of it scratching every time it goes down to the console, that's a big fault on Nintendo's, and the reason I say that is because they should know. They knew from the beginning that you're going to be able to taking this thing out, putting it back in, out, in, and yet somehow it is scratching people's screens like no tomorrow. Like, come on, you guys should have had that done. No problem. They should have had something on the inside to prevent scratching, because not everyone's going to be able to buy a screen protector right as they get it, or they'll try to, but they're all sold out, especially on day 1 sales. So they should have known that from the beginning. Now, going forward, they could do something kind of like what you've seen with like the PS4 and the Xbox, where you get a slimmer version. Although for them, maybe it's just a simply better built version where the box itself is better built and it's not made of cheap plastic and the screen's not going to get scratched just by sliding it in and everything. So maybe they'll do that. I don't have a Switch personally myself, but if they do that, I'm definitely going to wait, and then I could see that happening. I don't see them putting out a new console anytime soon. They just released the Switch, but nonetheless, I think hopefully they can fix that, or they should refund a lot of people or send out anyone that has had this problem. They should give them to them free of charge of some little fix that they might come up with for, within the time that they have to try and fix this problem. So hopefully they do that. I don't know if they actually will, but yeah, good question, by the way. Next question comes from Random Dark Void. He says, hey, Talon, do you think they will ever add Dokkan to the consoles? It'd be pretty cool to play Dokkan on my TV. Plus, they can reach an audience that don't play mobile games. I haven't heard of any games like this going to the console. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments below. I don't see the problem with it. I honestly don't. The only thing I could probably see a problem with it is that, you know, if you think about it, let's take my iPhone, for example. It's obviously not as big as a 42-inch TV. So you'd have to be able, so they'd have to obviously just expand everything and obviously make sure the pixels aren't so blurry and everything, which, you know, probably is not that hard. But you somehow got to fill up the rest of the screen, because even if you fill up, you know, the top part and the bottom part of a TV and you cover this much, but you still have this much TV, because the TVs these days are just gigantic, they need to either put some kind of extra art stuff on the side, or they somehow expand it all the way out, which I don't see it happening. But if they did that, then yeah, then they could easily put the game in there, just update it like they do with the phones. The only other downside, though, is that, and I know this from personal experience because I play games on the PC as well as the console, taking a field like Battlefield 1, now you're probably thinking, Battlefield 1, mobile games, what's going on here, Talon? But just hear me out for a second. So Battlefield 1 on the PC has what's called the CTE, and the consoles will be getting it eventually. But the PC doesn't have the restrictions in terms of updates that the consoles do. The consoles, when they get updated, the developers have to go through Sony and Xbox to make sure that the updates are okay, it's not going to mess with the console, and then they update it. Now, a game like Dokkan is not updated that much, so this actually could work in their favor. But at the same time, it might be a bit of a pain in Bandai's eyes to be like, oh, I have to go through Sony to seriously up this, you know, to update this when I can just do it automatically because on the app itself. So do I see them doing it? Probably not, especially with how late it is in the game's development. But it could happen. If they do, great. Or maybe there's some game down the future line that they do put on the, you know, the consoles and stuff like that. Another reason I think they won't do it is because when you buy a console game, although in this day and age it's a little, you know, iffy sometimes, you buy the game and it's yours. Whereas with a game like this, it's a gacha game, it's where it's free to play, and then if you want to purchase additional in-game stuff, you can. Now, there are games obviously on the console that have microtransactions, but not to the extent of something like Dokkan. So it is kind of interesting. If they do it, great. If not, I personally don't see them doing it, but it could be a neat little idea. So that is pretty cool, actually. Next comes from a game guy named Dude Named Lemon. Lemon, you have a fan here, man. And he says, do you think the PS4 Pro and Project Scorpio, that's the Xbox upgrader, he says Xbone upgrade, will cause a sort of split between the standard versions of the consoles and the newer, faster ones? Or so you think they will fall flat like the new Nintendo 3DS? So I'm assuming what you're talking about is the fact that once the Project Scorpio comes out and people are a little bit more accustomed to the Pro, are we going to start seeing a split basically between, you know, if a game comes out for the standard, you know, for the standard console and for then the newer, faster ones? Okay, so from what I know, Sony has stated, they have said there is going to be no difference in what is included in the game, and, you know, it's going to run as best it can on the PS4. And if you want, so I'm just taking the PS4 Pro, for example, because the Scorpio's not out yet. And if you want that extra performance power, then the Pro can provide that for you. But what they don't want to do, or what they've stated they don't want to have happen, is that if a game is made for both and it runs just fine on the Pro, but then you pop in the normal PS4 version, it's like, this thing is like really choppy, bad graphics, and it's not really running that well. So hopefully this doesn't happen. However, companies say this all the time, and I don't want to say it's going to happen right now, but unfortunately, I probably do see this happening down the road, especially because, according to Xbox at least, from when I've heard a couple of interviews and everything like that, they said that the Scorpio can be upgraded further and further or something like that, or maybe you can even switch out parts and everything to keep increasing it or something like that. So, or that's their plan at least. Maybe they'll release other parts that you can upgrade it yourself. So, for example, maybe a faster GPU or CPU or whatever it might be. So, if they do that, then they really do run the risk, because if you take a huge, you know, if you take the Scorpio when it comes out, and then Microsoft also releases separate parts and you can upgrade it, if all of a sudden half the community just on the Scorpio itself has updated it to the max potential, or whatever at the max potential is at that time, and then you have the base Scorpio, and then you have the normal Xbox One. Developers are obviously going to probably go for the higher end one to, you know, make a better game or make it look prettier and everything like that. And then the other ones could just, in terms of quality, could be pushed to the wayside. So I do see that being a problem. Will it happen? I don't know, but it could happen. So it will be interesting to see. We'll have to keep our eyes on it as the future goes on. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, as always, guys. Next is going to come from a Kern Joseph. He says, my questions is, why is Global so dead, and how do I get top of the local rank in the tournament in Dokkan? In terms of the local rank for tournament, it all depends on when you start and what random group you are put into. So if you want to go to local rank, you'll have to just, you know, you'll have to start late, but unfortunately you might not be able to get all of the, you know, point prizes. So that's kind of a win or lose situation right there for you. In terms of why Global is so dead, so at the time of this recording, it is March 15, 2017 Japan time. Global is pretty dead right now. You guys are getting the Brawly event, the second coming Brawly movie event, where you can Dokkan Awaken the Goku Kamehameha, Family Kamehameha, the Gohan, and the Goten. But Japan, that's way out of line from when JP got it. JP got it back, I think in like November, December, or I think around December time. And all of a sudden, and Global's been dead for quite a while. Now, from what I've heard, there is no like global team somewhere. Like Japan Bandai, who make the Dokkan game, in, you know, obviously in JP, they also, some people there, you know, as part of some little team, they make the global version as well. So if they are swamped right now with everything JP, Global has just been pushed to the wayside right now, unfortunately. So they, you know, they did have that change with Goku Black and everything, but it is hard to say if something like that, you know, if that is the true reason as to why it has been lacking, because they were starting to catch up a bit, and then all of a sudden they've kind of fallen back. I don't know if that was on purpose. Maybe they thought they were getting too far ahead, and they are starting to, you know, bring it back into what they wanted it to, the amount of difference right there. But Global has, unfortunately, it has been pretty dead, and this does hurt the game, because when I know a lot of players who play only Global, whether it's because they can't read Japanese, they just don't want to play the Japanese version, they've invested too much time in the global version or whatnot, and with nothing going on, people are more likely just, you know, to hover onto their phone and go like, I'm just gonna delete this, and boom, it's gone, essentially, kind of thing. Especially if you're a very casual player on the game. So, and that hurts the business, and that is gonna, and if that happens, if more people keep deleting it and not many people play it, Bandai's gonna look at that eventually and just be like, oh, well, no one's really playing the global version, so forget global, we're just gonna do the Japanese version. We'll update global every like 7 months or something like that. That's just the way it goes, unfortunately. So hopefully, you know, I don't want them to do that. I want them to have, you know, a reason to keep updating the game for you guys, because it allows me and other YouTubers to show you guys what is coming, and you guys can prepare for what you want. But at the same time, if the global is not pushing content out, then it doesn't make any much sense. So it's really hard to say. I don't know why exactly. I've given you my reasons as to why I think it is. But as for a hard creep, this is 100% answer. That is unfortunately all I have. So I hope that does help a little bit. So, and the last question says, hey Talon, what do you think about future Dokkan bosses getting abilities system stuff? They could land critical hits on you, do additional attacks, etc. Do you think this is a good idea? So I thought about this for a second, and with the additional huge health bars that we're supposed to be getting in the future, like up to 10 health bars, I don't know what events or when that's even coming, so don't ask, because I honestly don't know. We've just simply seen some pictures from some data mines that have happened a couple months ago or something like that. But in terms of them getting all of the Dokkan ability stuff, I don't see it being a problem. Assuming that it's later down the road in these harder boss battles, because it would actually make some of these boss battles harder. It would actually make it a challenge, especially for those who have every card, or, you know, have a good deck like mine, or have some decent amount of cards. Maybe not so much for the free-to-play guys who definitely have not been having much luck on the polls, but, you know, at least they've been learning their lesson about doing both Z-Hard, Super, and Super 2, you know, all having multiple difficulties, which is good, because it allows people who don't have the best cards to still beat the events. And then if you have the best cards and you want to challenge, then they have those higher difficulties. So if they had that, I think it would actually be pretty cool. It'd be very cool. It'd be very cool to see that. The only thing though is I don't know what or how high it is. Are we talking like, are we going to give them max 4 dupes here and give them you know, level 15 critical with level 12 additional attack and maybe 3 dodge or something like that, or are they only going to have the base one without dupes, so they have either if they're a physical, for example, a physical boss, then they'll have a level 5 additional attack. If they're a strength, they'll have level 5 critical attack, but they're not going to have the abilities as if they had extra dupes to make it even a higher chance of doing that. Hard to say. Or they could just make another higher difficulty, and then that could work as well. So I actually think it's a decent idea. Let me know your thoughts down below if you think so as well, everyone. But there might be some downsides to it. I don't know. Or maybe, like I said before, only make it on the very hard difficulties. Don't make it on Z hard or super, or I guess Super 2 right now. But maybe for Super 3 or even Super 4 in the future, if we end up getting that, that could be something right there. So yeah. So anyway, guys, that is all the questions for today. So that's going to be the end of the video. I hope you did enjoy. Leave your comments down below for next week's episode and also what you thought about the questions we talked about today. And don't forget to subscribe if you are new. I pump out new content every single day, or as close to as every single day as I can. So it really does help, and it is awesome to always communicate with you guys, especially within the community, because we have a pretty awesome community right here, and I love interacting and talking with you guys as much as I can. Unfortunately, not the most when I first post, because I'm sleeping by the time I'm posting these videos sometimes, and the time differences and everything compared to where most of my viewers are. So yeah, but it does help a lot. So leave your likes if you like the video, subscribe if you are new, and I can't wait to see your questions for next week. And until next time, everyone, I will see you in the next one.